So you want to move up into the MLB roundup?
I always want to move up to the MLB roundup.
So how do you want to start?
You changed what this is now. This is the MLB roundup. So to me, maybe we should talk a little bit a couple things that are not on the outline here. Oh. Maybe talk a little broad Major League Baseball.
Well, that's
fine. But we'll start first with what you got here. Oh, and then maybe we'll work in a little broad stuff. What's going on with the league, because there's a few things out there that happened in baseball recently that we can address.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Go ahead, bud.
All right, so a couple things that I wanted to bring up. Obviously Yoan Moncada had come back from injury. He's still hitting the ball. He's teeter-tottering. Out of 4 at-bats, he'll get you 1 or 2 a game. You know how Yoan is. And I wanted to bring that up about how it brought a spark to the team. But last night we had kind of a bad night on the south side. Leury Garcia, obviously Nicky Delmonico last week, he broke his hand. He got hit by a pitch, broke his hand. That, Nicky was finally starting to find his stride. As last video, if you saw us talking, how I went off about about Ricky Renteria and whatnot. What's very upsetting about that is Nicky was finally finding his stride. That's in the video from last week, and then he gets hit in the hand and it fractures his hand. Thankfully, no surgery was required, but that means Leury Garcia is going to be getting some more playing time. Right. He's going to be playing left field a little bit more. Leury got a base hit last night, slid into went to first, stole second, went to go steal third, jammed up his knee, sprained his knee. Not good at all. So we call up Charlie Tilson today from AAA, which is, cool. Nice to see some of our prospects come up. He's not going to be anybody who's going to make a complete crazy impact. I really hope he does, because it'd be fun for this season. But, the White Sox been having kind of a rough time. They have won 5 out of 7, though, which...
They're killing it.
Yeah, thankfully. We're finally doing something. But the record shows itself. But Yoan Moncada coming back is huge, because the 1-2 punch between him and Yolmer Sanchez is just fun to watch.
Well, that guy just changes your whole lineup in general, too, because obviously pitchers are noticing his power, and his power to all fields as well, too, because he's not just, not just a dead pull hitter. He's not just a dead pull hitter. Yeah, the juice is back on the juice.
The juice is back on the juice.
So, back into Moncada here. We've talked on the podcast. I'm a huge fan of Yoan Moncada. I think he's going to be a great player for you guys. I think, to me, he's your Anthony Rizzo of the group, because he came in a time where you didn't have much to watch, and he's going to be that guy that brings you back to the ballpark because you want to see his at-bats. Rizzo was that in the 2012-2013 years. Obviously, before your Chris Bryants came up. To me, your Chris Bryant is Eloy Jimenez, who's going to be just a staple in your lineup. He's going to hit 300. He's going to mash. He's going to have the on-base percentage. You see, this is like the way the White Sox are building this is so much in line and in parallel with how the Cubs did it too. But and you can kind of piece together.
Well, you know what? Don't tell that to Cubs and Sox haters. And I am so tired of that. Oh my God!
Well, this city is terrible when it comes to the South Side North Side rivalry. In that, to me, and I'm not going to call out everybody here, because baseball fans, to me, who are watching on YouTube, are diehard people. Those are the people who are looking out for baseball videos. They're searching out for any Cubs, White Sox information. And we're going to keep giving that to you. And tonight we're going to dive in. I want to dive into each division and kind of just give a base of what, some surprises, teams that are, because we're almost at the quarter of the way there.
Right.
So we can kind of go into that and talk about, what's going on with the league and who you think, obviously there's some teams here that maybe might be sellers that you thought were buyers going into the season.
What I'm so frustrated with, just to get back into what you were saying about the Chicago Cubs mold here, is obviously, we did what the Cubs did. We traded the talent we had to get some prospects.
And see, that's the thing too.
And let it grow.
The White Sox had much more talent on the roster to trade at the time that they did too. Than the Cubs.
Well, you have to admit, having Chris Sale, who's one of if not the best pitcher in baseball, trading Q, which you guys got kind of suckered, man. And I love Q, and I still love Q.
Well,
but Eloy Jimenez,
where am I going to put him?
Well, you or me?
No, I love Eloy Jimenez, and I think he's going to be a Chris Bryant type player. Where am I putting him?
I'm sorry, I thought you meant where you put in Q. No,
Eloy didn't have a spot in the outfield.
Well, he kind of did.
I mean, he did, but to me, I'm under the impression the Cubs are going to pay for Bryce Harper. That's
right.
And they're going to do what they can to try to get rid of Hayward, which is going to be impossible. Or they'll just have them both, and they're going to have half their salary built up in right field. Because to me, with what's going around the park, and we've talked about this on one of the podcasts for the Cubs, revenue dollars are through the roof, and the Cubs are sitting fourth in MLB in payroll behind Boston. Boston has the number one payroll in baseball. And fourth of the Cubs, there's still $20 million that they can get to get up towards Boston. And to say that the Cubs don't have that to expose with the revenue around the park, with obviously the Brickstone Tavern that's gone up, obviously everything on Gallagher Way, the hotel is linked to the Ricketts, so they're laying in the money here. They have plenty to go around. So to me, the Cubs have maybe 30 to upwards to $40 million to pay somebody. If it's not Moncada, if it's not
Moncada, you mean Machado?
Sorry, Machado.
You can't.
My mistake.
You can't have.
No, and I understand that. My mistake on that. But to me, it's going to be Bryce Harper, considering what Jason Hayward has done this year. But back into your White Sox, it's cool because you guys are in the same spot that the Cubs were before they bought John Lester, which was they have money in the bank to pay somebody, and you're promising that person that, hey, I got this guy, and this guy coming up. I think they're going to be great. Show them the numbers on Eloy Jimenez. Show them the numbers on Moncada. Obviously, you have Cease and Hansen and all these pitchers down in, throughout the farm system that you think are going to be contributors coming up. I think it's great. It's a great position that the White Sox are in to maybe buy next year and say, hey, you may have to suffer through 1 year of bad baseball or average baseball if we bring, because to me, Eloy is going to be up next year. I think one of these pitchers are going to be up next year.
That's where I was trying to stop you.
Is to me, no, but see,
I don't know if you saw the report.
You can't wait out so long. I know it comes down to, but see, the Cubs were in this spot too with Chris Bryant. And it was, should we bring him up or should we wait until we have another year of eligibility for his contract? See, what the Cubs did is the smart thing to do. You wait 14 games or 15 games, whatever the game limit is, and then you bring him up next year. So you're only suffering through 14, 15 games. You hope you break even because your roster is going to be a little bit more talented than you think. And you go into the next year with the same eligibility in the contract that you would wanted if he played all the way through.
That was the thing about Eloy, though. I think we see Eloy soon.
See,
He's making the...
Why? What's the reason?
The reason is injury.
See,
injury and optimism.
Yeah, I get it.
We're hurt in the outfield. We're hurt in the outfield.
If you do
optimism is running low. If you have not checked out...
But you won 5 out of 7.
I understand that. Yeah, right. But we got murdered today. If you have not checked out Nuke, is what we call him over at Sports Mockery. If you've not checked out Matt Nuko's article on if the White Sox are losing fans, you should check that out at sportsmockery.com. But because we don't have a lot of optimism, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot of optimism in the farm system, but we're losing fans.
Yeah, but
and you know why? Because whether we want to admit it or not, this town is totally fair weather.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Across the board.
Yeah, there's a lot of White Sox fans that I knew recently in high school that are now going to Cubs games, which to me pisses me off because obviously you've known me since 5th grade.
5th grade.
I've always been diehard Cub. You've always been diehard Sox. To me, it pisses me off when I have to pay $200 to go to opening day. We're going this weekend. They're playing the Giants. Got a good deal, $80. We're going to sit down the third baseline, which for Deb's birthday. Shout out Deb. Happy birthday, Deb.
Little Deb.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. But, still, $80. I remember going, during the rebuild, which was awesome. And on a Saturday night, I sat in close to the same seats that we're sitting on Saturday for $15. This is just how this works. And to say that Jerry doesn't have the money to pay it, it's fine. He's got the money.
Jerry's got the money.
To me, if you're a White Sox fan, Now, the best thing you could do is to buy tickets to go to the game because that only adds revenue. It only adds dollars to your payroll. So, to all you White Sox fans who come out and say you're die hard, go. Because this is the fun time, because I remember sitting at a game at opening day talking to Tony, who writes for Sports Mockery for the Hawks. Check out his articles.
That is certified Tony G on Twitter. I think he might have underscores in there.
He might, but you'll find him.
You'll
Just
find
type
him.
Tony Generis.
Yeah, Tony Generis.
He writes a lot of Blackhawks stuff. I know we don't cover a lot of that, but we do have a buddy who does. So
yeah, and
this is a good way to...
He will be when the NHL draft and shit starts coming up.
We're going to have him on.
We're going to have him on.
So, but to say, to go, I remember talking to Tony, I remember telling him that I went to the game for like $15, and I watched Blake Parker, who's now pitching for the Angels.
Oh my God! Yep.
And he had his 5.37 ERA that year or something. I remember watching. Obviously, they really only had like Starlin Castro and like hopping left fielder called Alfonso Soriano every time he caught a ball. But those are the moments that like I remember more than I remember who pitched Game 3 of the NLDS, because that's how diehard you become. You know, so to you guys, the best memories you'll have are watching them get their ass beat 14-0 in a James Shields start, because you'll look back when you win a World Series and you'll laugh. And you'll say,
like all the shit that I had to go through to watch this.
Yeah, but like buy in now. Why wouldn't you? You get to watch Yoan Moncada play. Obviously, Yomer Sanchez has had a hell of a year. He's obviously in that lineup, other than Abreu, Yomer, and Moncada, it's very thin. And obviously now we just heard that Wellington's out for 80 games with PEDs. So, you know, there's going to be some guys coming up.
I am just so glad we didn't call up Zach Collins.
No,
because he's the only. Well,
Good.
He's actually also the only catcher healthy right now, because Zavala's hurt. You know, Kevin Smith is hurt.
You guys got a mess over there.
Yeah.
When it comes to, but like,
Zavala's on the. He was on the 7 ADL. I mean, it's not huge.
But it's just.
But this is the thing.
Now.
When I was telling you about that article about are we losing fans? And this is what Josh Nelson put from Sox Machine Josh on Twitter. Very good guy, like very huge in the White Sox, obviously. But asking Jerry, how do you expect fans to believe you will spend the necessary cash in free agency to build a sustainable winner when you're worried about your top prospects getting an extra year of arbitration?
Yeah, but it's smart business.
But that's a great question.
See, think about it, though. If you have an extra year, it's one less year that you can throw money at somebody who doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if we're trying to... They're talking about Eloy.
Why not? What's the reason you're bringing him up now? You're not contending. You won 15 games or 13 games. I get it. I understand the idea behind the lack of people in the stands. That's tough. I get it. It's tough to watch. And the baseball is tough to watch. It's very frustrating as a fan to sit and know that, I mean, your bullpen is terrible. I mean, your lineup, you don't have much in the lineup as of right now. But just know that that's not your team. You know what I mean? It's your team is in triple A's and double A's and single A. You know, I get it, and I know it's frustrating in the moment because I was there. I remember seeing these lineups. I remember seeing Alfonso Soriano batting third, and God knows who that I couldn't even, Felix Pie, and got all these people that were terrible.
That suck.
It's guys that last 2 years in the league. I mean, remember Brett Lillibridge? Brett Lillibridge was a Cub playing third for the time that Mike Olt was out. That's another name drop. And Mike Olt was bad too. He had 200. He went to the White Sox after that.
Right, he did.
But like, buy in now, because why not? Like, it's not expensive to go to the game. I mean, it's $20 to park, and what, you can get in for $5 if you want to sit all the way up there. Like, I just don't understand, like, why the reason you don't go. Like, and I get that, like, it's frustrating to watch bad baseball.
We're also in a
like,
different. We're in a different area than where the Cubs are.
No, but
and it's not
to me like
it's not an excuse. It's not as easy.
No, but the White Sox
there.
do everything they can inside that park to make sure that you come.
The park is great. Diehards go. What my old man always says, which is probably bullshit. We don't go to watch shitty baseball. I go to watch baseball. I love baseball. But there's one thing I want to hit about the Sox before we hit your Cubs, and I want you to get into what you got to talk.
Go ahead.
Joe Girardi.
I'm for it.
Are you for exploring it for the White Sox? Obviously.
Now or later?
I would say at the end of this year.
End of this year, yes.
Okay.
I'm okay with and I know
Obviously,
that, like,
the caliber of Joe Girardi being a manager, he's not going to come to a team in the middle of the season.
No,
and if anybody
not.
thinks that, you're ignorant. You're
Right.
ignorant to the situation.
That's not going to happen.
Right. But I'm talking about at the end of the year.
Yeah, I could see it next year. I know that this would be totally against the White Sox normal work of the way they do things, because obviously they have to pay 2 managers. And I know Ricky's contract isn't like crazy up there, but they would be probably shelling out a decent amount for Joe Girardi. But I mean, Chicago guy, like when it comes to you managed here, I think he grew up here too.
He did, Peoria. So right by where Jamie's grandma grew up.
So,
which is my wife's grandma. Sorry.
See, like, I'm probably one of the very few Cub fans that are very pro White Sox and interested in the rebuild, because to me it's fun to watch good baseball. And if both teams are good, it's going to be really fun for the podcast.
Right.
You know, and it's going to be really fun for us watching as fans, you know. I mean, the thing for us when it came to I think the White Sox played the Cubs 2 weeks ago, and we played the Crosstown. It was tough.
Was that already 2 weeks ago?
I think it was about 2 weeks ago.
Holy shit, man.
But
work will get you.
It will. But no, I just it's good because when I was looking at the attendance at Wrigley Field when it came to the Cubs White Sox series, and I know it wasn't the best weather. I mean, we were getting there, but it seemed a lot less attended than the normal Crosstown usually is. And I know when it moves over to the south side, it'll be crazy populated because that's Hawk's last series, that's going to be hysterical, which if we want to, we can talk a little bit about that interview that was hysterical to me. Did you hear that interview with him and the Yaz?
We'll get to that next week.
Okay.
We'll get to that next week.
But no, I'm really pro Girardi because I think that from the X's and O's, he got a bad rep with the Yankees. With the Yankees, just in general, from the media too, what happened last year with the whole reliever type issue that he had in the playoffs. But he's a good manager, man. See, the difference between a good manager and a bad manager is the team to me. It's easy to sit with a lineup like the Cubs have, and they're able to plug and place guys with high upside, high potential, when it comes to Hap. I mean, a big question each day is who's playing in left field, and your choices are Schwarber and Ian Happ. I mean, you can't really go wrong there because there's potential on any at bat for one of those guys to run into a home run or to produce with somebody on the base pass. But yeah, I'm pro Girardi. Are you pro Girardi? Are you trying to make that move?
No, I'm super pro Girardi, and the reason I am super pro Girardi is his track record. He's got a 988 wins as a manager, which is he's 988 and 794 for a 55% win percentage. I feel that he's a hometown guy, which is super cool. I feel that the Cubs and the Sox, if this does happen, would have 2 of the top managers in the game. I feel that Girardi can help develop talent better, get a good staff in there, which means buy Coop. Get some,
Interesting. You're willing to get rid of Don Cooper already? Because there's a lot of White Sox fans out there that.
What do you mean already? You've known that for me from about what 3 years now?
No, but I'm just saying, in a sense of fandom, there's a lot of people who hold Don Cooper in high regards, able to, in his willingness and his ability to take somebody who is maybe an average pitcher up and a little higher in the echelon. And
who's the last star that Don Cooper made? And if so, help me God, they say Quintana, I'm a flip.
No,
Chris Sale's a freak.
I mean,
he's a freak.
That 2005 rotation was a lot of Don Cooper.
Kyle, man, that was 13 years ago.
No, and I get that. I understand, but I'm just saying from a stand of White Sox fans.
Of White Sox fans,
he is highly touted when it comes to.
That's cool. You're highly touted bullshit. It's time you run your course, buddy. You run your course. You turned your back on the management staff.
See, I've been on this boat for a very long time. So I'm not a Don Cooper fan.
Neither am I.
See, I didn't know this about you though. I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
I told you I wanted to write that article.
See, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I really wasn't listening. But I'm just
that hurts.
I'm just saying. You've known my feeling on Don Cooper because you're right. That 2005 rotation was a long time ago. And it's tough to build starting pitching. I get that, and pitching in general to me is so different. It's hard to build pitching.
I just think that if the Sox have a chance, they need to explore it now. And by what I mean now is they need to send out the feelers now.
Which I'm sure
for
they
Girardi.
are.
And if that does happen, it happens. But I would be super
Poor
stoked.
Ricky, though, man.
No, not poor Ricky. And you know what? I felt poor Ricky for when you guys won the World Series and they kind of cast him aside for Joe Madden. I see exactly why they did. Good. I see exactly why they did it. He's fucking Doug Collins. Get the hell, coach a team. We suck a little bit. We got some good talent. We're going to go find somebody that can actually manage them, and we're going to call it a day. We'll see you later.
Well, maybe Ricky needs to start doing some Phil Jackson Zen.
Maybe he needs to start doing some blows so he has a little bit more energy behind him. I'm sorry.
So,
all right,
really quick, diving in. We'll do some MLB talk just real quick.
Go ahead.
We're going to talk kind of just some surprises here towards the 25. We're like a quarter of the way maybe through the season here. Is there anybody on this list that surprises you? Any sleepers that you think that are going to stay? And there's any adjustment to what you thought was going to happen at the beginning of the season?
All right, so there's absolutely really no surprises to me across the AL.
Right.
The only thing that does catch me off guard is the fact that Cleveland is playing so shitty.
Right.
And the White Sox are only 8 games out, or was it not 8.5 after today, right?
They're 9 out right now.
Oh, they're 9 out
Currently right now.
Okay, so they're 9 games out of first place after how
a lot of
horrible.
games left with Cleveland too, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Not that they're making a division push,
No. But there's 116 games left in the season for the White Sox after today, and we're only 8 games out. It is literally not impossible if we find a stride.
Right.
We suck, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying. Houston.
Bring them up, all of them.
Right. You knew Houston was going to be up there. Seattle's playing real good baseball. Los Angeles is obviously, they're 6. I believe Los Angeles 6 games above 500. New York and Boston, I'm very happy to see that whole thing going again because for me right now I don't have a lot going on, so it's kind of cool to see a rivalry like that.
Right.
And then be up there. But really, across the American League, I'm not seeing many surprises besides Cleveland sucking and the AL Central being really bad.
The surprise to me is Seattle, but I think Seattle is going to fall after what happened to Robbie Cano.
And what a goddamn tragedy, man.
Yeah, that's
just not...
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer before then, and now that's up for debate now.
Listen, we had this conversation a couple podcasts ago. I'm done with the PED shit, man. Mm-hmm. I'm done with it. Play the fucking game. You're a millionaire already, dude.
See, I'm all about
play the game.
Just put it in there. I want them all roided up and.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If they're gonna cheat, and if everybody's gonna cheat,
so if you're
and get around it,
cheat, do it right.
Everybody should be able to cheat if they're able to cheat.
There's honor.
You know what I mean? Because there's ways around it. Because there are people that we don't know currently that are taking pills or creams that are undetectable when it comes to drug testing. Drug screening.
What is a cream?
You didn't know about the cream?
No.
You put the little cream on here and then you... Yeah, see?
For real?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There are creams out there that... See, I'm not super bodybuilder here,
I'm going to put some on... You said it goes... going on my junk. Going on my junk right away, my wife.